In a world where magic determines the value and prestige of people, a father hides his son to avoid being mistreated for not having powers until he discovers that his son is stronger than any magician. Regro Bernadette, a 75-year-old man, enjoys his time alone as he thinks about the tranquility of his later years until Mash, his clumsy and very well-intentioned son, smashes the door trying to enter the room. To keep his father from stressing out, Mash tries to fix the door but destroys it further. He then tells him that he has finished his exercise series and takes the moment to ask him why he should only exercise his muscles and not his magical abilities. Regro evades the issue by telling him that there will be time to practice his powers. In addition, he tells him that he will go out for a while and reminds him that he is forbidden to leave the forest. Although Mash always obeys his father, his desire to eat goblin rolls makes him disobey him, so he runs to the city in search of his favorite food. Upon arriving in town, the wind leaves his face uncovered, so everyone can see that Mash does not have a magic marker on his face. Because of this, Brad Coleman, a police officer who is torturing a criminal, receives several calls of complaints from the frightened town. Meanwhile, Mash was walking home while eating muffins until he encounters a drunk police officer whom he accidentally smears cream on, so he takes off his clothes to wash them. At that moment, Brad appears, who berates the young man since he has realized that he is the cause of all the calls. But Regro quickly appears and takes Mash away in a jiffy. Brad uses his magic to track them without them noticing. Upon arriving at the cabin in the woods, Regro scolds Mash for disobeying him, but seeing that he only went out to buy his muffins, he decides to punish him with something as mild as asking him to repeat his exercise routine. Mash performs his routine in just a few minutes, as he is literally a gigachad, but upon returning home, he hears Regro being violently tortured by the magic police, who ask him to turn Mash in. The old man refuses again and again, so the beating becomes more and more brutal. But Regro begins to remember his hard childhood, in which he was treated as someone useless and unable to satisfy the people who expected something from him. In fact, that led him to want to end his life, but when he was about to do so, he found Mash abandoned on the roof of a building and felt that his life had a purpose from that moment on. Remembering this, Regro starts yelling at Mash to run away, so Brad decides to conjure a spell and end his life. But Mash bursts into the room, smashing with a punch and shocking Brad, who tests the young man's strength by throwing a very powerful spell at him. Obviously, Mash repels it without problems and uses Regro's magic wand to throw it in Brad's face, threatening to aim it at his face if he doesn't leave Regro alone. Brad sees an opportunity in this and explains to Mash that he will stop bothering Regro only if he agrees to enroll in the Wizard Academy and win the noble title they give to the most powerful wizards. Brad insists that if he manages to get that and gives him the prize money, he won't tell anyone about his secret, so Mash agrees. Claude Lucci, the teacher in charge of organizing the entrance exam for the Easton Academy, gets mad at Mash when he sees that he doesn't show the same enthusiasm for magic as the other kids. In addition, he does not pay obeisance or flatter him like the other applicants, so he will do his best to leave him out. At the beginning of the exam, Mash passes all the tests and obstacles that Claude puts in front of him, so the teacher has no choice but to use a magic maze to make him fail. Mash meets Lemon, a tender waifu who asks him for help to overcome the maze, but after a long time of saving her from danger, she betrays him, asking for forgiveness for having to do so. Mash frees himself from the waifu's trap and runs away, leaving her alone. At that moment, a dangerous obstacle threatens Lemon, but Mash returns just in time and saves her again, telling her that her reason for entering the academy must be as important as his, so he didn't take the betrayal personally. He then punches his way through the maze in a straight line, earning the scorn of his classmates, who call him a cheater. Lemon defends him by saying that he should have done that since Professor Claude asked him to make Mash lose in exchange for accepting her into the academy. Claude is humiliated by this and berates them, threatening to use magic against them, but Mash quickly pounces on him and smashes his wand without any trouble. The headmaster appears at that moment and takes Mash to his office, asking him why he is there. Seeing that Mash's answers are not even close to what he expected, he tries to teach him a lesson by putting Regro in danger. But seeing that Mash is capable of putting his own body in pain in order to save Regro, the headmaster accepts Mash into the school. In the end, an innocent and calm student named Finn discovers that he will have to share a room with Mash, the strange young man everyone is talking about. The next day, Mash fails to fly his broom, so one of his teammates comes up and taunts him, calling him a fraud and challenging him to a duel to humiliate him in front of everyone. But Mash literally breaks a record by flying his broom at an almost imperceptible speed. Obviously, no one but Finn saw that Mash threw his broom with a ton of force and threw himself on it, Tao Pai Pai style. At that moment Cavill appears, a young man everyone fears at school, as he is the son of a powerful official within the magic agency. Cavill tells Mash that he wants to be his friend, so everyone begins to suspect that he has malicious plans with him. The next day, in potions class, Mash finds his book completely smashed and wonders what has happened. At that moment Cavill shows up and invites him to talk during recess, explaining that he is friends with the school's vice principal, and can help him become a divine visionary if he obeys him for the whole year. Mash accepts, so he begins to serve him in every way, but as the days go by, his books keep turning up destroyed. Mash spends his time serving Cavill in order to become a divine visionary, but discovers Finn's book in the hallway and runs to return it, only to find it being mistreated by Cavill. Finn explains to him that Cavill has been forcing him to sabotage him, so he begs him to forgive him, as he is a great person. After this, Mash is furious and literally slams Cavill's head into the ground, knocking him out immediately. At that moment, the vice principal appears, threatening Finn and Mash, as he won't tolerate two poor saps without important parents mistreating his friend's son like that. But Mash rushes at him and beats him up, threatening to bury him underground if he dares to tell on him. Anyway, Mash ends up back in the principal's office, who explains to him that what he has done is unacceptable, and he has received complaints from all sides, even from the magic agency, since all the important people want Mash out of school. But he doesn't want to punish someone who has acted justly and kindly, since Cavill and the vice principal are two corrupt bullies. The principal tells him that he will do his best to turn him into a godlike visionary, as well as warning him of other dangers he will have to watch out for. On his way out, he runs into Tom, who forcefully asks him to join the duel team, which is sort of like Harry Potter's Quidditch. Although Mash tells him he's not interested, he ends up joining the team. Mash literally stands still during the start of the match, so everyone starts booing him. But he doesn't even understand the rules of the game, so the energetic and motivational Tom approaches him and tells him that he must give his best to achieve his goals. He then explains the rules of the game and gets on his broom again to keep giving it his all, but an opponent lashes out at him, severely injuring him and taunting him. This angers Mash, who throws his broom in the air and keeps flying on it thanks to an extremely fast leg movement, leaving everyone stunned. He then throws the ball at full speed, hitting every shot and spinning it so that the ball returns to his hands again and again. In this way, Mash turns the game around and becomes super popular at school, catching the eye of Lance, the valedictorian. For that reason, Lance berates Mash and captures his friends in a magic lantern, telling him that he will have to confront him outside the forest if he wants them back. Upon arrival, Mash sees Lance threatening to throw the bottle off a cliff and use gravitational magic to crash them to the ground. A flashback makes us understand the reason for Lance's actions, as his younger sister is gravely ill, and he wishes to gain a better social position so he can help her. When he finally throws the bottle, Mash uses supersonic speed to retrieve it without trouble, leaving Lance speechless. In addition, Mash tells him that he has noticed that the bottle was a fake, proving that he knew the real bottle was in his sack. Before leaving, Lance hands him some silver coins, while Mash acknowledges that he is a good person after all. Lance helps Finn and Mash with the potions and spells classes, as he doesn't want anyone to take advantage of them on the day of the tests between the different residences of the academy. When that day arrives, the professor explains that the test will consist of going deep into the forest to defeat magical scorpions, which can award bronze or silver coins depending on the power possessed by each of these beasts. Silva, a nasty sophomore bully, beats Mash before the test begins just for fun. Because of this, Lance decides to accompany Mash, Finn, and Lemon to protect them from the danger that may be unleashed inside the forest. But Mash gets lost along the way because he is distracted and encounters Dot Barrett, an energetic and noble boy who detests Mash because of the popularity he has among the girls. Dot sees a girl in distress and saves her, winning her love, as Dot is just like you. He doesn't know how to relate to a girl and gets nervous talking to her. But unbeknownst to him, the girl was using magic to seduce him and leave him out of the competition. Although he tries the same with Mash, Mash doesn't pay attention to him. She then asks Dot to take care of Silva, as he is supposedly harassing her. Silva shows up and the fight between the two breaks out, although the power difference is quite wide in Silva's favor. But the rebellious magician makes a mistake, throwing Mash's muffin. To abuse the helpless youths, Silva bets silver coins with Dot and Mash if they are able to withstand 5 hits of his magic. But Dot insists that he leave Mash alone, as he has nothing to do with it, so he will get 10 hits for him. Silva literally throws sickening blows at him, as if trying to kill him, but Dot manages to resist them in order to save Mash and the waifu. But his spirit breaks when he sees that the waifu was actually on Silva's side and only did that to steal their coins. Seeing this, Mash becomes enraged and threatens them, but Silva just laughs. After this, the two start to fight, but Mash obviously destroys him with a single punch, betting him the same, that he couldn't take another 9 of those. Silva begs him to forgive him, but Mash doesn't look interested in stopping. So Silva takes advantage of a star scorpion appearing on the scene and tries to convince Mash to take care of him for more coins. But Mash also sends the scorpion flying with a single punch. He then performs a suplex on the waifu. At the end, Mash's friends show up concerned about what happened and Dot seizes the moment to thank Mash. Afterwards, Lance explains to Mash that he should be careful of the Lang dorm students, as they are hatching a plan to keep the Adler dorm people's coins to prevent people like Mash from becoming divine Illuminati. Later, it is revealed that Silva was actually associated with them. Towards the end, Mash accidentally arrives at this group's meeting and interrupts them unknowingly. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get next part of this anime recaps.